Hey, what's going on, everybody? Antimidation here, and in my backyard, and I built this ant nest, and this is my version 2.0 of my previous model, and it's a soil nest, and this can be used for any species that digs in the soil, prefers the soil, sand, whichever, and this particular setup here is going to be for my Myrmecocystis colony, and I'll show you the details in a minute here. But I used acrylic, clear acrylic, because it's cheaper than glass, and it's not going to break as easily, not nearly as easily. The only downside is it scratches. You can get scratch resistant. That's even more expensive than the regular, so I just threw this together, and I made these measurements to suit my needs. You can make it any dimension you want as long as it holds up to the weight that you would put in the middle section here. On the bottom I have a piece of plexiglass for the stand, and generally it needs to be twice as wide as what you have here at least, depending on what you're going to put up here. This is the foraging area, the area where they can put the soil that they dig out of here up here. And if you look in here, this is what the nest looks like with dirt in it, and I put a little bit of soil up on top just to kind of like make it natural looking. But I drilled a hole through this section right here, and that's the only place that the ants can dig through. So like if you put the ants in, you would start a little hole there, and then you'd put the test tube in here. I have a lid for this. It's exactly the same length and everything, and then you just let them go and do their own thing, and they dig through here. And if you make this thin enough, see, my previous model, see, this is how thin I have it. This is an inch. This is an inch wide right here. My previous one was 2 inches, an inch and a half, which is way too wide. They could dig right through the middle and not be seen, even with large species. And what else you can do is you can put red cellophane or red plastic on the outside of this, and ants can't see red light, so they think it's dark. So, but you can see right through it, and they'll come to the edge of this, and they'll dig so you can see them. Now this cost me about probably like $20-ish dollars, and I don't know if you see this, but I anchored them with screws. They're just basic screws with oh, I'm sorry, they're not basic screws, they're drill tip screws. I drilled pre-existing holes, then I drilled these in and anchored it all together, and it's very sturdy. It's not airtight though, so what I had to do was come back around with fish tank sealant and just dab the edges, and it's pretty much almost airtight. So like you can make a fish tank out of this right now if you wanted to, basically, but it'd be this thin, ridiculously odd fish tank, but you could do it if you wanted. But what that does is it holds the moisture in there better, so you don't have to water it as much. The moisture that I put in from like 2 months ago is still kind of lingering in there. However, there's a hole that I drilled on the side, and a tube comes out, and you can add moisture from here. And on this side, up here, is another hole that I added for expansion. So if the ants dig into this too much and they get too big, you can add a hose here and attach it to another one you've made, and you can expand them into that. So you always got to think ahead when you think of these things in terms of ant colonies. This will hold a good sized colony though, and as you can see, it's quite deep. I did that because I wanted a gradient of cool, moist gradient. So it's cooler and moist down at the bottom, and as you get up top, it's warmer and drier. So that's a nice gradient for ants to have. So, you know, they have the pupa up here, and the larvae and eggs are further down a little bit, and as they grow, they move them closer to the heat source, which would be a lamp up here. So Some of you expressed that you wanted me to show you anything that I've been building, or show you any interesting Formicariums that I've been thinking of, and this is what I have so far. So there you have it. Hopefully I can put some Armor Resistance in there. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.